Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Sam Sadler. Today I have Cary with Capital Concepts.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Hey, appreciate you being here. But I asked you here today because I've been interviewing a lot of investors around the DFW area, and people keep bringing up the name Capital Concepts. Everyone keeps going back. Can you tell me why they're going back to Capital Concepts?
Well, as a person that stands 6'6" tall, I do literally stand head and shoulders above the rest. But
I like that.
Capital Concepts stands head and shoulders above the rest also, and here's why. We do conventional loans, and of course, there are many companies out there that do conventional, but even fewer that do investor loans, and even fewer that have no overlays on top of Fannie Mae guidelines. So basically, when you have a conventional loan, you have a set of guidelines that you have to come up to and meet if you want to get that loan through underwriting and get it closed and funded. On top of that, lenders can come in and they can add their own what we call overlays on top of that. So Fannie Mae says we can do 10 loans. We'll do 10 loans for any one investor. We offer that because we don't have any overlays, but other companies will come in and say, well, our adversity to risk is going to be 4 loans for any one investor. So many times I get calls during the day and investors say, well, I heard you can only have 4 loans as an investor on conventional. And that's just simply not the truth. That's what that lender offers.
That makes perfect sense.
And on top of the conventional loans, we have hard money and we also have portfolio loans.
Okay, and just like you say, I've heard so many different slants on hard money. It's probably because of the capability of whoever I'm talking to. If that
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So you want to tell us a little bit more about hard money loans?
Sure. Hard money loan is really nothing more than an interim financing that gets you from your original purchase on a property that probably won't qualify for conventional loan, for a conventional loan, and it gets you past that hump to get the repairs done, and then puts the property in a condition where you can get financing on the back end, more permanent financing, usually a conventional loan in that case, which is what we call our 2-step or our cash saver program. The reason we call it a cash saver program is because it helps you save out-of-pocket costs.
Sure. Okay. And me personally, as a customer, I hate it when I go and I'm, quote, sold on someone, the initial face, the handshake, and I talk to a company and all of a sudden I'm handed off to somebody else and I don't ever talk to that person again.
Right.
What's it like with Capital Concepts?
When they come to me and they do business with me, yes, I have a team of individuals that work for me, work with me, and help get the client closed in a timely manner. So those individuals consist of my assistant, the processor who's going to be actually processing the file and pushing it through underwriting, and of course myself. I'm still always the face for the customer. I'm always available. They can call me anytime. They can email me anytime. I always answer voicemails and emails right away, or usually within a couple of hours if I'm really, really busy.
Okay. And I've heard that with your new website, you guys are going to have a module on there to where they can actually log on and see the progress of their loan.
We're really excited about the new website, Sam. Yes, that's going to be fantastic. Clients are going to have more accessibility to what's going on in the process of the loan at any given moment rather than having to pick the phone up and call me. I'm available. They can call me as many times as they want. I deal with a lot of new investors, and here's another reason I think why they would do business with Capital Concepts. I've got a background in investing, so I've done 42 transactions of my own. I can look at a transaction and help them and analyze it, find out what they need out of pocket on the transaction to see if it makes sense for them.
Okay, and then that does bring up another question. What do they need out of pocket for a transaction?
There's a real easy calculation. Now, most of our investors are going to choose to do our cash saver program, which is hard money to conventional refi. The reason is, with a conventional loan, if we look at a typical analysis of a hypothetical situation that we see all the time, which is a $100,000 ARV, ARV simply means after repaired value. Okay, so what is that property going to be worth once they put the repairs, the new flooring in, the paint, and the carpet? We take the ARV times 70%, that's going to be their loan amount for the hard money loan. Okay. So all they have to do is calculate their hard cost in the transaction. That's going to be their purchase price plus their repairs. If that number is over the 70%, they're going to bring that difference plus your hard money closing to the table. That's typically what they have out of pocket on a transaction, and you can calculate that once you've calculated your, look at your comp package and see your value. You can calculate that like that, and see if that's a deal you want to analyze a little further.
Now, is it always 70%?
I would say 99.9% of the time it's 70%. I have some higher value houses. When you're talking about, $300,000, $350,000 flip, we might only fund 75% on something, 65% rather on that, but 70% on your typical rental property.
Yeah, because if it's a risky property, you're going to let them know that up front.
Absolutely.
Okay, which brings me to a point, and with you having done so many properties, and you often interject with your investors, is what I've heard, is that you will tell them, hey, this is a pretty risky deal. I just wanted you to know up front, this is a pretty risky deal.
Yes, I do that a lot. I'll lay it out and say, look, does this make sense to you? Are you comfortable leaving that amount of money in the transaction? If it still makes sense to them, I'll let them make the decision, but I'm going to help them make a good informed decision is what I'm going to do.
Okay, that makes sense. And as far as, I guess my other question was, how long does it take to close a hard money loan?
Typically about 2 weeks. We can close them in as quick as a week. Really what we're waiting on title work to be available to us to make sure there are no liens and judgments against the person, the seller. Once we have that, once we have insurance, hazard insurance in place for the borrower, and an appraisal, I'm ready to close that transaction.
Wow, because I know that these deals, as they come up, boom, they're, if it's a good deal, it's gone pretty quick. So.
And if it's a wholesale deal too, sometimes they want you to close relatively quick. We've closed them in a few days before. I would say, you give us 2 weeks, no problem.
Okay, that sounds good. Hey, thanks for coming on the show, Cary.
You bet, Sam.